What's happening? My name is Blake Harris, and this is the Music City Mindset. Music City Mindset is graciously located in the NFM network. So we are located on all platforms everywhere under Nashville Fit. Find them, you'll find us, and we are grateful for that partnership. Also grateful for a lot of things today, mainly the fact that I'm not here alone today. You don't have to just listen to me. I am here with the co-owner, Spontaneous Beauty. We have been friends for pushing 30 years. Fortunately, maybe unfortunately, depending on how you feel about things, 10 of that, this man put in one of the hardest fought battles with addiction that I've ever seen. And I'm very gracious and grateful that he is here, still rocking with me, helping me do all of this. My best friend, Evan Butler.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Easy?
What's up, man?
Man, with all the things we have been doing lately, been around a little bit of a younger crowd. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things I don't understand.
Yeah.
Now, but I remember when we were kids together and we started saying things like sick, that's dope.
Right.
You know, my grandparents, they didn't understand us.
Fresh.
Yeah. They didn't understand how we talked. Mm-hmm. But we were really just taking words that meant something and making them mean something else. To us, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, how do you not understand?
Right.
Right. Now,
they said things like snazzy, and we needed like a breakdown.
And exactly. And the way these kids talk today, am I a boomer now that I don't understand what they're saying? You're around like actual kids with your kids. Where's this 6, 7 coming from? I don't understand.
Bro, I'm going to crash out right now. You're not.
I don't. I'm trying to pick up on it, but I feel dumb using it.
This is the things I hear around the house. Like, they get mad when I say it. And I'm like, I used to be cool. But like the 6, 7 thing, you know, I find any excuse for me to say it, you know.
And they get mad?
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I see videos that are viral of like a McDonald's, when it's order 67, the guy will say 67 and the entire restaurant loses their shit.
So when I walk in my son's school and it gets quiet and awkward and there's a bunch of like snooty parents that are like smell me or don't want to talk to me, I can like lean forward and be like 6, 7, and the whole place erupts. Like they're like pandemonium. Teachers are like, stop saying it, Claire. Hey, you know, and it just goes crazy. And then the crash out. I think like we thought crash out meant like you go your bike off a ramp and you literally crash out in the street. That just means like, from what I can understand, I'm gonna get real upset, and that doesn't scare me as a parent. I'm like, you're allowed to crash out whenever you want. Nobody cares.
Big feelings.
You know, we'll be here when you're done crashing.
I feel like when I was growing up, and also now, I still use the term crashing as a term for taking a nap.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
but now it's almost like I'm not being dramatic, but like a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like now it's like a freak out.
Like,
okay.
I'm coming down off caffeine.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming down off too much caffeine and I'm crashing right now.
I just don't.
Okay. So if I get that text from my wife, I should clarify that she's not taking a nap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm finna crash over here.
I don't know if you're dating a Gen Z,
but she's around him sometimes, so it might rub off.
If I said I'm gonna crash at Blake's, my parents knew. Oh, he's spending the night over there. You know
exactly.
But now it's more of like a up than a down. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand. Do they have like whole conversations where you don't even understand the language?
When you ask them, they don't even understand where it came from. So like at least like 6, 7, I know because I watch. I keep a hand on the pulse of underground rap. That like it was a slang that may be gang related that got put.
That's
on
what
a
I
clip
thought.
of Lonzo Ball or somebody, and then it turned into like a kid, and then now they all do it. Webster Dictionary said it was the most said phrase of the year.
That's crazy.
I just learned about it yesterday.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
But you know what else I don't understand?
What? Women.
Obviously. We all need help with that, especially Ezra. But no, the laws that are happening or in the process of happening, that it seems like we're going backwards in the legalization of cannabis. I don't think it's a secret how I feel about it, but it seems like we were pushing forward, and then now they're like trying to draw it back. And I just don't, in the way my brain works, I don't understand. But luckily, I have people that can explain it to me. Right. Here on the couch today, we have a friend of the program. We have a guy who founded Joint Efforts Media and Podcast and is now running the Southern Champions Cup from, what is it? From retail to reform, from, oh man, I had it in my head. Oh man.
You'll get it. Take your time.
Yeah, it was, I had it right there. It was going to go good. Anyway, all things cannabis is my expert in my life, Matt Clinton.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm super grateful to be here. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad to have you.
Absolutely. Awesome. I saw the Champions Cup being pushed by East Nashville Yacht Club. Shout out Jason.
Yeah, those guys are great. They've helped us every year since I've been involved. That's the past 3 years. This is my third year.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you are here today. This is the Music City Mindset. We talk to people that are influential in growing something here in Nashville, but are not actually from here. That's our basis, our bread and butter of what we're doing. Where are you actually from?
So I'm from North Alabama, Decatur area.
Okay.
Yeah, grew up just outside of Decatur. Small high school.
Throw some D's on it.
Yep. What was it like growing up for you? What kind of, especially knowing with what we're going to be talking about today, what kind of, how can I ask this? What lunchroom table did you sit at in high school?
Like I said, it was a small high school. My graduating class was 60 or so people.
Oh, wow.
So there wasn't a huge amount of diversity, I guess. But I was definitely at the weird table, I think. Yeah, I would probably put myself in that category.
I like that.
It's the place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
It was usually probably the safest, like judgment free.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely more judgment free. But at the same time, it was such a small community that you kind of know everybody and end up interacting with everybody because it's so
one of
small.
those communities where you kind of go from grade school on up with everybody around you all the way through.
Yep. Yeah. They were a K through 12 from like 1960 something up until like 2012 or something. And then they built an elementary school. Now they have 3 separate schools. But yeah, it was tiny for most people.
Yeah. What about siblings, parents?
Yeah, I have a sister. Yeah,
okay.
Sister, parents are both around. They actually, my dad was the band director at my high school, at that high school.
Did you play?
Yeah, played and marched up until my 11th grade year, and then I hopped out of that and I really hopped out of that, and I started being the mascot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And there was also a 2-year period there where I was developing a news platform for the school.
That's cool.
My mother, the librarian of the school,
oh, wow.
kind of helped me pave that path into getting that into the curriculum and making it a thing.
So was it hard having 2 parents at school with you?
No, I don't think it was hard. It's kind of hard to judge my own situation there because I don't know it otherwise, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
That's just your perspective.
no conception of what that would be like. It kind of sounds lonely.
It does. It's like, oh, man.
Like mom and dad aren't here.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up, and when did any kind of cannabis enter your life?
I don't think I don't think I knew what I wanted to do until I was probably in 10th grade or so. And at that point, I wanted to get into the entertainment industry somehow. I wasn't really sure how or like what kind of avenues to take to get to that place, or what I could even really contribute. But a friend of mine, his dad worked, excuse me, his stepdad at the time worked in Nashville with a law firm around here that worked with a lot of different music groups, and he kind of helped me figure out a school to go to and just kind of enlightened me on how I could proceed into that. So I did that out of high school. I moved up here and went to SAE and got out of that and immediately just jumped into work and there was a period when I moved to California where I wasn't in audio engineering, but other than that brief 3-year period, I've kind of it's always been a part of my life somehow.
Well, that's cool. That had to be a big move from Decatur to Nashville.
Oh, yeah, it was. That was a time, I think, like, as a graduation gift, it was probably the first, like, Tom that came out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can't imagine how I would have done it without it.
Wow. I forget about Tom.
Yeah, those things.
That was wild.
Where I grew up, we weren't going anywhere that we didn't know how to get there. And it just wasn't
Same.
really a
If we
thing you had to
did,
worry
my
about.
dad would go to mapquest.com.
MapQuest. Yeah.
Print
Print
it
off
off.
Had the
Print the
holes on the side. You
Yep.
know, had to figure out what page we're on.
Hope the
That
address
was
hadn't changed.
revolutionary too.
Do what?
That was revolutionary. At
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. Like that changed a lot of businesses.
Instead of having to like use the atlas and like draw out write out your plan if we went somewhere and never been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think Google Map or like Maps app, or whether it be Apple or Google or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that gets talked about a lot as far as like revolutionizing like how we just get around.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people that do stuff like that in Waze and stuff, even when they know where they're going for traffic,
reasons.
road closures, things like that. And it's like, man.
Yeah, I don't use Waze because I was told the cops can tap it and know where you've been. Not that I have any reason to worry about that, but, it's always in the back of my brain.
But I just think back to like when I first started driving, it's like, man, I really did just like
know where stuff was.
either know where it was or good at figuring it out or just didn't
had to
care.
ask somebody
Just,
wise.
Yeah.
yeah,
An
driving
elder.
around aimlessly.
Yeah, and like I grew up with one of them dads that like would drive around forever and not ask somebody. So I was real good about like, I'm gonna ask this gas station lady because
Yeah.
she knows, and
I'm
I ain't
sick of
doing
this.
this.
What was it like going to Cali for you?
Oh, it was great. That was 2014. I moved to Cali. To rewind from there, I was doing a lot of music industry stuff. Maybe a year or so after I graduated from SAE, I networked with some people in cannabis. I had just kind of recently gotten excited about cannabis. I didn't smoke cannabis until I was probably 21, maybe 22.
Oh, wow.
It just wasn't a part of the culture where I grew up. So immediately really got into it heavily, and found some friends that helped me start cultivating, and did that for about 3 years, and audio engineering at the same time. And
They can go hand in hand.
oh yeah, certainly. There's the crowd definitely crosses over.
Yeah.
But I did that for 3 years and decided to stop doing that, just because it's dangerous, and I didn't feel like I wanted to move on, do other things. Wanted to go to California, do some things out there, and learn. Was really one of the big things. Was just gathering a lot of knowledge to bring back here. But moved there in 2014 and started an extracts company with a friend of mine. And we ran that for about 3 years. And I loved it. It was a blast.
Now, when you're going out there to search for knowledge, are you going out there looking for like a mentor person, or are you just going in to intake things on yourself, kind of self-guided tour, if you will?
Well, with cannabis, it's kind of, it's tough to find mentorship just coming into it cold.
Yeah, I would assume a lot of it's gatekeeped.
And illegal.
Yeah.
Especially back then, it was this was before their recreational bill had passed, and they had a lot of medical stuff going on. But they left a lot of holes for the black market to exist. But it was challenging trying to find anybody that would help you back then.
It was a wild time.
Yeah, nobody wanted to help you with extraction tech or just knowledge and SOPs and things like that. It was definitely safeguarded.
It was kind of the Wild Wild West
Yeah.
as far as the industry went.
Yeah, it really was.
And so would you say, knowing how gatekeeped that is, would you still say your trip to there to gain knowledge was still successful?
Big time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely found people that helped me out and paid for some knowledge and took advantage of certain groups that were just not open knowledge forums. And most of that information at this point is on the internet, and anybody can figure out how to do a lot of these things. Really, and what I'm speaking on is hydrocarbon extraction. That was kind of the boom back then. But none of that stuff is super difficult to master or understand, especially if you have guidance.
I was walking right beside you that whole time, and then you said that, and it went right over my head. So for my audience sake, let's pretend I don't understand.
So there are a lot of different ways to make an extract from cannabis flower. The method back then that was becoming really popular was using solvents, hydrocarbon solvents like butane or propane. You could use really a ton of solvents. There's a lot out there to use, but at the time, butane and propane were really popular. And a lot of that, the progress around that tech, it started really garage and kind of nasty is the word I would use. People it was a lot harder to basically come up with a clean product. But eventually a lot of that tech evolved and, became something that wasn't as dangerous, was more efficient and cleaner and healthier. And it was exciting to be a part of that and in the middle of that.
I was in Colorado during those years, and I know at least in Colorado, I can't speak for Cali, but you could be clipping or working in a facility and show up the next day and it be gone and just like disappeared.
Oh, like as in an explosion?
No, I mean like they moved it in the middle of the night, gone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's always the contingency when you're doing stuff like that is you need to be able to pack your shit up in like 8 hours or less. I've had to do that. I've had to pack that house up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Damn.
For a couple days and then come back after the coast is clear.
Successful knowledge seeking.
Yeah, very, very.
49er searching for gold trip to California for you?
Yeah, I spent I was there a little over 3 years, but I think the one we ended up getting a place. We had a place in the city in San Francisco, and then we ended up getting a place a little out farther west, farther east. And at that place, I spent roughly 3 years there processing material into hash with hydrocarbons, and Where was I going with that? What was the question?
I think you were going down the right road.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But eventually you ended up coming back to Nashville.
Yes.
So-
It was the knowledge seeking. It was great. I got a ton of experience. I ended up, probably spending almost 3 years solid every day making extracts. And that was very developmental for me and also looked great on a resume. It was a successful company. We had a lot of products on shelves. And it was all good. And
why-
coming back was,
For the sake of this show, why come back to Nashville? Why Nashville? Why is that now your spot? I mean, obviously, you could have gone back to Alabama. If you went across the country, you could have probably chose to go anywhere at that point if you wanted to. Why Nashville?
I think my idea was really I didn't really know moving there that I would come back to Nashville specifically, but it was just an easy option. I had been there for so long. I have a really big network here. It's safe in that regard.
Friends, family, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's really great in that regard. And I love Nashville. There's a ton of work for me here. When things fall through, and they have, and it's, I can jump right back into that and be fine.
Now, was part of the idea of coming back here and kind of rooting yourself into this industry in this state where it's not legal, it's not medical, is that now like on purpose to kind of be on like the forefront of that here in this state, or would you want to be in a state where it's
No, absolutely. It was
legal?
At some point I came back and decided that I wanted to stay here and do everything I could. I ended up working with a company that started in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I moved out there, and I was their director of extraction, and we did that for a year, and that was awesome. We grew into a company of 60 or so people pretty quickly, and this was all CBD. This was 2018, so it was the CBD boom.
Got it.
But we ran that for a year, and it did really well. And then the market crashed, and the hemp market crashed, and most people drowned. And
Crashed out.
Yeah, well, big time.
What do you think caused the crash?
Flooding
of the market?
I think, especially with Tennessee, it was oversaturation of farmers. Just way too many licenses handed out. This happened in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
We knew, a lot of us understood what was happening. I mean, you just look at the math. You just do the math. How many acres? How many plants?
Right.
And when you started doing, I've heard people say that when you started doing the math on like the whole country around 2019, 2020, the numbers were like enough CBD to supply the planet for like 20 years.
Wow.
So
it's like we're good.
Yeah, just absolutely absurd numbers, and just mismanagement as far as how many licenses we should be handing out and how many acres we should be letting people plant. But it went from $4 a pound to like $1 a pound pretty quickly. And that was devastating to a lot of farmers who had just thrown a lot of money into that.
I saw that firsthand. I knew a couple of people that turned their acreage into CBD farms, and then I felt like that was almost a tactic. People that had grown tobacco forever, or this or that, and bought
some
into
people
it.
in Darrellville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I couldn't point to it on a map.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't either.
Yeah.
I just heard them talk, but that did seem like a thing. Now, I don't know that much about CBD. Obviously, your work now is more with the actual THC cannabinoid. Do you dabble with any other extracts for like medicinal purposes?
As far as like what their like primary active ingredients are, no, not really. They're just kind of specialty to a degree, and I could probably, some of them I would probably appreciate, but I just don't really take the time to.
Yeah.
not that others shouldn't. I would definitely recommend it. It's one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of things.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
for sure.
We all know people that have had epilepsy that was pretty much cured. You know, and, and not having to take strong drugs.
We can end up now once we start talking about what you're doing now. We can reminisce on, you know, our own personal use and things like that. The reason I ask, and I don't know how often this would ever come up on a show, so it's a good time to plug it. At one point, my mom had glaucoma so bad that the doctor was telling her that if she didn't get it fixed, she would probably be blind in about 10 to 20 years.
Wow.
Completely in both eyes. And I would make a joke trying to lighten the mood when she got back from one of her eye doctor appointments about smoking weed for your cataracts. Now, my mom, very religious, not going to smoke.
Yep.
But I was actually curious, like, why do they say, like, you know, in Friday when you're talking about it's for my cataracts? Like, I started looking that up, and it's actually the CBG that's in a cannabis plant.
Okay, they figured
that's
out
not in hemp.
Okay.
And it's one of the ones, it does get burned off when you smoke.
Yep.
But she found a place, and she gets CBG isolate.
Yep.
And as of now, she's not even considered glaucoma.
How long did that take? Or
a couple months.
Yeah. Couple months. That's
incredible.
incredible.
A few months. It started like dropping the ocular pressure.
Yeah.
Started dropping. It made such a quick difference so quickly, so drastically that then her sister, their cousin, like at this point there's like 4 people that have like completely changed the trajectory of where their vision was going just from CBG isolate.
What was her delivery method?
Sublingual drops.
Yeah. Cool. That's great. That's great to hear. That was I feel like that was one of the first medical conditions I heard people treating.
We always joked about it, but I didn't know if there was any truth to it, so I started doing a little bit of research.
Yeah. It's a CBG.
And there's the CBG.
Yeah, there's CBG in small quantities in most cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
That might not completely be true, but it's, it's kind of there in very, low quantities.
Yeah. And obviously, I don't know what the process is. I mean, you're director of extraction. You'd know more than me. But is there more in the female plant than the male plant with CBG?
Well, with CBG, there are varieties that are CBG heavy. Mm-hmm. So now that people understand that they're, a very broad array of different cannabinoids, they can steer those genetics a little bit and end up with a plant.
Because it seemed like from what I read, just like there's a plant that has a lot of THC in it with maybe a little CBD, and then there's a plant that has a lot of CBD with very little THC in it. And my understanding is the CBG naturally, and of course now we're at the point where technology, we can genetically figure it all out, but that naturally occurring, the CBG follows the THC.
Say that again.
The CBG follows with the THC.
Follows? What do you mean?
Well, when you say follows? It's going to be in the plant where, if there's a plant that's more THC versus CBD,
I see.
If you find THC, you're going to find the CBG.
Gotcha.
That's what I read.
No, that makes sense. I think it could have to do with how CBG becomes CBG, and all of those different cannabinoids have different paths to get to them, right?
Yeah.
So it probably has something to do with that, I would imagine.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I am not a huge. I have, a little bit of knowledge, but I'm very humble. And honestly, like what I've been doing over the past 3 or 4 years, I haven't been in that kind of role. Or the role I was in after that, I was the VP of processing, and I also did all of their quality control and safety stuff, all of that compliance. But I haven't been in a role like that since 2020, early 22, I think. I've really just
You
been...
still know more than us.
Oh.
You know a lot more than us.
I sit in rooms with people that know more than me, for
That's
sure. But
that's what I try to do.
Yeah, it's there's so much knowledge, and really we're just scraping the surface on the knowledge of this. Even the people that know a ton more than I do, that's the first thing they'll tell you is all of this is in its infancy as far as our knowledge around it.
So even with like the CBG with helping eyes,
mm-hmm.
do you think that there's even more to figure out of like what each individual ingredient can do that we haven't even begin to tap into yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna. I'm pretty positive there's still more cannabinoids to be discovered. I think we have like 140 something right now, and really we're only focused on a handful.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know that there was that many. I thought there was only like.
Well, this is the result of
7 or something like that.
You know, the laws making
Right.
it illegal to study. So now
this is a good plug of even people who aren't interested in any kind of like psycho effect of of why more people should be on board with pushing towards laws and reform to make this legal to help more people.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of how science works. You're going to find a lot of things in this stuff that you don't know about, and you're going to end up finding solutions to problems you might have not even known you had. So it's definitely to be. I could understand not everybody likes everything, so that's just something that we have to battle with.
That's true.
But overall, pushing for it to be just more commonplace.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I mean, we are in the South. We're still coming off that
Bible
reefer madness, that that ugly propaganda, and even the Cheech and Chong. Like, as much as I love Up in Smoke, to my parents' generation, they thought if you smoke, that's what you are. You're spacey. You're this and that. Like, my mother, I've often says, you could look back at my grades and go like, what happened from here to here? And it's like, well, I'm not going to sit there and tell her. She'll see it now. But, it's like the minute I started partaking, I had severe ADHD and was able to focus for the first time, was able to sit and read a book, was able to take a test, unbeknownst to the school. But like it helped me learn how to focus, and that I didn't have this problem I thought I had, that it went away, and that it wasn't just my brain.
What age were you when you first started smoking?
12.
12, nice.
And when I say smoking, like that might have been once in a blue moon, but probably weekly would be about 15.
15 is what I'd say.
Copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, I was much older. I have no idea where I would be if
I
I started smoking back then.
Yeah, that's what's crazy to me. I expected this.
But you guys are looking great. So
yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, and I mean, I've heard people say like, well, he started talking about other people, and so he's got Arrested Development or this or that. And it's funny because like if they don't know you did, they don't say those things about you. They don't, it's easier to pigeonhole if somebody knew it or saw it or, you know.
So now that we're starting to dabble into our own personal experiences with this, I'm very interested in learning more and picking your brain of your knowledge. We've kind of learned up at this point why you're even sitting here and what gives you this resume to be our resident aficionado, if you will. So I think now is going to be a good time to take a quick break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back. We are back here at the Music City Mindset. We are here with our new buddy, Matt Clinton. Matt, we kind of covered everything. You growing up, going to Cali, getting all this knowledge, finding a real love and passion for what you do. So let's talk a little bit now about what you're actually doing now. You have Joint Efforts Media. There's a podcast in that. And so we'll talk about a little bit how that started, why that started, and what you're trying to do with it.
Yeah, so I guess the relationships I have with most of these people here in the cannabis Tennessee community started in Knoxville when I came back and started working for that company. That same year, I guess this must have been 2018, the founder of that company in Knoxville, one of the three founders of that company started the Southern Champions Cup. Back then it was all CBD, the farmers, it was a weird scene. It wasn't what they wanted it to be, but right. I think they really recognized that they wanted to just occupy the space, and eventually we would get to a place where it's like a regular cannabis cup.
Yeah.
So they did that for 2018, 19. I think they took a year off during COVID, whenever that was. But otherwise, they were consistent every year. And I left Knoxville, started working with this other company in Nashville, and eventually, right around when this was about a year after COVID started, I left that company. Mostly out of just frustration with the industry, and kind of getting tired of working in the CBD thing. I started looking for other jobs in other states, kind of doing what I was doing in California, getting back to that. I really enjoyed managing a team. That was something that I really liked. So I searched for that for a while, never found it, and eventually I guess that would have been the fourth year of the Southern Champions Cup rolled around, and that founder from Knoxville had moved to Nashville as well, and we started talking a lot more, and eventually they basically brought me on to the Southern Champions Cup as a partner. And I started helping them develop that. And in parallel, we decided to start a podcast. That had always kind of been on my list of things to do, as a lot of people's.
Yep.
But Cody, the partner, the guy that I'm referencing, he has a really great personality. I always thought he would be a great host, great public speaker, knows a ton about cannabis. So we kind of built it around him being the host, and just interviewing anybody that we thought was interesting. We had a lot of our confidence going into it was understanding that we both had a huge network, and bringing in guests wouldn't be tough. It's not like going into something that you had no knowledge or anything like that of, or network. So we had we were ahead of where a lot of people would be with no network. So that helped a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's similar to why I started this. So I was, being networked, and I could get people on, and
yeah, it's a lot of stuff built in.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've really gotten at is you have a really deep passion for this stuff.
I do.
Like even like watching your face change when you're talking about like getting frustrated with things in certain industries and things like that. Like you care a lot. Yeah. Where does that passion for this beautiful plant come from?
I guess a lot of it comes from how much it helped me with anxiety and stress and depression. And
do you mind? Can we talk a little bit more about about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not a huge case of somebody that I think I would have been okay without cannabis.
Okay.
I don't think I would never say it saved my life or anything like that.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. There
But
are
close.
people like that.
Yeah.
There are definitely people like that. I don't think I'm really one of them. I love how it makes me feel. It definitely helps me with my depression, anxiety, just getting through the day, not being so angry.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Very, very beneficial for my mindset. And I love all the ritual around it. Is fun for me. The community's fun. The culture's really, as far as cultures go, tolerable and unified for the most part. And
if you don't mind me asking, but the reason why I'm asking is because a lot of people, especially in the, reefer madness and the generation before us, treat this like a gateway drug.
Sure.
So the way you're talking about how this helped you, did you also explore other vices, as far as how to manage some of your depression, your anxiety?
No. Well, I mean, I do drink alcohol. I wouldn't say that I use that as a vice, but maybe that's just kind of how it works, and it kind of is. I definitely am a proponent of psychedelics, so I've used a lot of that process, made some psychedelics myself, I'm a big proponent of that. But there's that side of, I guess that side of why I like it is a little unromantic.
Yeah.
No, you get there how you get there.
No, you get there. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like we were, kind of talking on the break a little bit that, how much it was blamed as a gateway drug. Like there might not be anything wrong with this one, but it's going to lead you to something else. And a lot of the people that I saw, coming out of, the addiction battles and things like that, and he can speak from his perspective that there is definitely like two very distinct mentalities of, once you're sober, you're all the way sober, and even if you didn't have a problem with this, doing this counts as a relapse for whatever you were addicted to. Right. And then there's other people that definitely use this to kind of manage things on the other side of their addiction, and they still consider themselves sober. Have you dealt with people like that?
Certainly. Yeah, certainly. And it could be anything, man. It could be somebody up in the mountains and they decide they're going to make leather belts forever. And that's what they do to not be an addict.
I think that whole gateway thing, when I look back on my journey, which is the only one I can really speak for, it's that old cliche of like, if you hang out in a barber shop enough, you're going to get a haircut. Yeah. Well, even though I'm bald, like I might get my beard trimmed. Yeah. So if I was hanging out with enough people doing cocaine, I'm probably going to eventually try cocaine.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It didn't have anything to do with me smoking cannabis at a young age. It was who I was around at the time, what we were doing, what was going on. And so I think the gateway thing is just a bad stigma of, should you be smoking anything at a young age? Probably not.
No, there's definitely science that says we shouldn't be smoking. I mean, no doctor's ever going to tell you to smoke anything. That's for sure.
But
yeah, as far as it being a gateway, it was only a gateway to good things for me. It was probably, I guess I could say it was a gateway into psychedelics. But all of those things have been incredibly positive for me.
I run into a lot of people that say, well, I'm sober from this, but I smoke, or I take gummies, or, this or that. And my thing is I'm at a point in life now where it's like, stop letting anybody else define what your sobriety is. Let yourself define what you are,
That's powerful right there.
Yeah. I definitely think just being accountable and being thankful and grateful is a huge part of that. And you don't need to worry about what anybody thinks other than yourself. I think, I've seen a lot of people be very successful smoking weed rather than, dealing with the hard drugs they've been using for a long time.
I mean, I went through a school system that told you you needed to be in a resource class or you needed to be in this or that. That's what it changed for me. It's like when you're a child and you think you're stupid, and people, adults, actually said those things, and then years later, you're an honor society, and things change. It's like I don't have a bone in me that could look at it negatively, for what it's done for me. And as an artist, I believe, like, I've always seen the world a little differently, or I've always been uncomfortable in rooms of, like, I felt like nobody understood or this or that. I ended up going to an art school, which, like you talking earlier about being at the weird table, I felt like at art school every table was the weird table, but just having a beautiful experience with it and knowing where it took me and what took me aside was not that,
Yeah.
I think another question that I think people, like, I'm almost thinking, like, what could I cover here that, like, my mom listening could, like, feel like she learned something from a different perspective, because I can say something,
right,
and it might not mean the same, right? So my question is, we're talking about the medical benefits, we're talking about the mental health aspect of this. For you, whether it be your personal thing or, like, if you have people consult with you on use, on types, on products, what would be best for them? Where is that line between, like, yes, I do this because it helps with my clarity, it helps with my depression, my anxiety. Where is that line between using it for proper purposes and partying with it?
I almost would put it back to what you just said. Don't let anybody. You're better off not letting anybody define that other than you.
And I think you pretty much know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a human being, as a man, like, whether somebody else says it or not, like, if something's getting a little out of control.
I mean, for most people, they're going to figure out that, they're doing something wrong.
Right.
Do you ever, like, reel yourself back and, like, take breaks at all?
No.
I love it.
No, I don't think. I think that I've taken, like, unwillingly, like, maybe 24 hours off since 2010, probably.
Yeah. I had a court-ordered year, and everybody around me thought, like, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
And I will say,
it was the longest year of my life.
Going to Colorado, it was probably the hardest trip, just in the fact that I wanted to. I'm in the mountains. I'm in my special, like,
you're in Rome.
That's where I'm at peace, Yeah. And so, like, but I also saw that those questions that people or myself might have had got answered, of, like, it was just as beautiful. It was just as peaceful. It was just as, like, rejuvenating to me. And that year not only went by like that, but it wasn't a big deal for somebody around me to smoke. It wasn't a big deal to be places where people were partaking.
I feel like I took it harder than you did.
Yeah. And I've always been that way,
too. That's been my homie, dude.
It's like, if I'm an alcoholic, I don't think you shouldn't drink. I just can't do it. So I've always had that mentality too, of, like, I don't hate people that drink if I can't drink. It's just me. It's my problem.
The accountability thing. But yeah, everybody's different. I know a lot of people. I mean, that's the reason I know them, is because they can be around people like me.
Yeah.
The ones that can't, I don't know them. They probably, they get away from people like me. But I guess whatever works, and the same thing with the usage, like with using cannabis, whatever works. I wouldn't consider myself an overuser. I know some people that I'm like, buddy, there's no reason to smoke that. Your receptors are blasted. You're not going to get any higher.
Yeah, I think
some of those.
Are you on the same mind like train of thought that like there is a point of diminishing returns as far as the benefits that we see from the use?
Yeah, I guess in all benefits, I mean, maybe I can't really speak on all things, but as far as just getting lit, yes, there's definitely a point where you're overdoing your receptors, and they just become overloaded, and it's like dopamine receptors. You can overload dopamine receptors, and it takes a while to recover from that. Get back to homeostasis.
It's good for people that might be listening to this that either don't partake or partake as much to hear someone as avid of a like obviously like this is something you're really like fond of and you're pushing passionate about to still have that kind of opinion.
I probably, if I'm like in the zone and working really hard, I'll probably take 3 or 4 dabs throughout the day, or rip a couple of bowls of weed. I'm high all day. I'll say that. But it's definitely something that is that I just don't really have I think once you understand, for me, like once I understand that doing more isn't better. You start to just realize that it's not going to help to necessarily do more.
Well, on that note, with gaining knowledge and a deeper understanding and appreciation, let's start talking about the cup coming up.
Yeah.
December 13th. Tell us what kind of vendors can we expect? Someone coming in that's like, let's just even say someone who what could someone who doesn't know anything about the use and how this could benefit their life come into the cup and see this expo, if you will, of different vendors? What could someone expect to see, to learn, and experience?
Yeah, so I think this year, and like most years, the biggest aspect of this is bringing the community together and putting them in a place that's a market environment where they can interact with non-cannabis vendors and cannabis vendors that have entered into the cup and purchased their products. We have a couple of different stations that will be set up for flower and concentrate specifically. And at those bars, you'll be able to try all of the flower entries and all of the concentrate entries. So really, it's just kind of a market. It's kind of a market vibe. And at some point in the evening, we'll have an awards ceremony and, hand out trophies and awards. And throughout the night, we'll end up having some speakers do maybe a couple of panel discussions with some Q&As. We were talking about doing a live podcast with you guys and East Nashville Yacht Club, maybe. We've got a lot of weird activations like the 3D projection, or not 3D projection, a projection mapping thing that we've been working on. One of our rooms is just kind of a blank space, and it's just kind of in an awkward location. We don't really know what to do with it, but I think we're going to just make it kind of a living art exhibit, if you will.
Oh, kind of like the immersive
yes, exactly.
Stuff on the walls, ceilings, floors, all of that.
Have you ever been to the Museum of Modern Art and Technology in New York? Maybe not.
Not in New York, no.
Right, yeah. There's a cool museum in New York called the Museum of Modern Art and Technology, and they have a really big room like this. Probably 500 square foot, and the whole thing's
I went to
mapped.
something similar in
Colorado.
Denver recently. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so basically the point that I'm trying to get across is that it's not just a bunch of potheads, Beavis and Butthead, just sitting around getting stoned.
I don't want
actual.
Yeah, dude. There's food trucks. It's really like if you would imagine a beer festival or a taco festival. It's very similar to that. You're definitely going to see a lot of people that don't look like they would be around a people smoking cannabis.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I have to steer it as the producer, I want to steer it that way. I don't want it to be a sausage fest sesh, just
Right.
an
No,
event
I
for
get what
people
you're saying,
to
because
come around and
our
smoke.
society is weird. I'm interested in your opinion on this because you mentioned a taco festival.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I don't think anyone in our society would assume that it's a bunch of gluttonous, obese people just eating tacos until they pass
Yes.
out, right? Beer
Yeah.
festivals.
Right.
Beer festivals,
It's
cocktail
connoisseurs.
festivals. It's like swanky, it's like tasting this. I've been to whiskey festivals where you taste it and spit it out so you can taste everything.
Yeah.
Like very hoity-toity. But then you mention a cannabis festival, and people automatically assume it's just like
All the
drug rugs.
all the backpack
dreads.
boys from Bonnaroo.
Yeah. I mean, it is that way in a lot of situations, unfortunately. And yeah, part of what I want, the goal is to make it more inclusive and make people, you force people into that situation, and then
Yeah.
it won't be that situation.
Exactly.
Get them there. You just got to get heads through the door.
And you don't have to inhale. You're not
I want it
related
to be for everybody. I mean, there's going to be the vendors that we typically have are pretty diverse. Soap makers, just farmers market. Kind of.
I'm very excited to be a part of it this year.
I love the location.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, we're gonna have a booth with you guys. You're
Absolutely.
diverse. That's not.
Yeah.
There's people. It's adjacent. There's
Yeah.
people in both that do both. Right.
Love that. Now with that and like the societal perception of this industry, are you getting the chance to like network with the people you're talking about that you're networking with like politicians, lawmakers? Like, how hands-on are you on with like the laws coming up and the reform being pushed?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
I have had to really take a back seat to all of that. As far as just keeping up with it.
Okay.
Keeping up with this stuff is like a part-time job. I do have one of my partners, Clint Palmer, works with the Hemp Law Group. My other partner, Cody Seals, up until I think semi-recently, was a big hand in TGC. They're one of the more the bigger packs in Nashville, or in Tennessee rather. So I have a lot of people around me that have a lot to do with it.
Okay, so you don't have to. You can just
That's
get
been
caught
part
up.
of. That's been a big part of why I don't know. I don't have to know. I have people on my team that know, and they keep up with it.
Yeah, awesome.
But
it's from what they're telling you, and how you're looking at this year's cup being in December, what the things that are supposed to change January 1.
That's already gotten kicked back.
Already.
Yep, 6
I'll
months.
see how out of the loop I am. Okay, so I was going to ask how that was going to affect, what you did this year versus what you might be able to do or might not be able to do next year.
This year is going to be the best it's ever been, and as far as the laws are concerned, and that's primarily because of how products have to be sold. Last year, I think, was the first year where we all kind of formally approached the idea of the entries being able to sell their products. So the first year we did it, the way it was set up, we had to get a retail license, and basically when the entries showed up at the event, we had a central tent set up, and they gave all of their products to the tent, and they set their booths up, and they gave samples and smoked people out and whatever, but they couldn't sell from there. So we just had staff there selling the products out of one specific
Like
booth.
one store.
Right.
Gotcha.
So thankfully, because we have Clint and Cody and all these other people in our corner, figuring all of that out really quickly and getting those
the loopholes
and figuring out how to do it quickly wasn't a problem.
That's awesome.
This year, those laws around that don't exist. So what's going to make it better is we can just let the vendors sell their own cannabis with their own POS, and we don't have to have anything to do with it because there's nothing
individual
really
vendor,
stopping.
Gotcha.
We don't have retail licenses anymore, I guess.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of vendors, speaking of products, you brought some products here. You got some companies you want to plug and talk about?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. So our studio, the Joint Efforts Podcast Studio, is actually sharing a space right now with Lifted and Gifted. And this company is run
Lifted
by
and Gifted. I
Lifted
love
and
that.
Gifted. Yeah. So and actually, let me. It's kind of a long story with this company. This is several companies that have actually merged over time. And did I bring my backpack in? I think it's around. Oh yeah, it's right there. I've got a couple more products here too, and these are labeled with the new branding. So their new company that they've kind of merged together is called BBXLG, and they have a manufacturing space under the podcast, under our studio, and they're basically sponsoring the podcast by letting me use that space.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're great. Cushies is another very close friend of mine. We worked at this company in Nashville for several years together, and we have both kind of spread our wings. He started this company like maybe 15 years ago.
Wow.
And ran it really hard around Michigan and other legal states. And then the CBD thing happened, and he kind of did like I did and jumped into that, and it was a little more official and corporate and put together, and provided a lot of opportunities. But he got tired of that company and that environment and the culture like I did, and left and started doing his thing again, and he's doing really, really great. But he's one of our event sponsors and podcast sponsors, and awesome products. They make tons of different flavors, seasonal flavors. I don't think that they have, as far as I know, I believe it's all organic ingredients. But I think to get like an actual organic certification takes a certain amount of steps and infrastructure, and I was one of those guys doing a lot of those the building out of those foundational pieces to get to certifications like that. And one thing I love about his company is that he could have that if he wanted to right now.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm not sure. I think I know some things that are stopping him at the moment. I think some of it might be he wants to have multiple tiers of products, right? I think he's going to lean into that soon with some of the other things he has going on. If he doesn't, I'm going to push him into it.
With all this stuff here, not to put you on the spot, but we're on this show going to be a judge for this year's cup.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this. I would love to have you guys as a judge. Absolutely.
So
I'm not exactly
get used
sure
to
how we'll
hearing
work it
about
out.
these companies.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot. Last year we had 45 entries, 45 people enter, and most of them entered multiple products.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a little less this year, just because of the way the laws have happened. It's pushed a lot of people out. Made a lot of people move away to other states. So hopefully the laws, in the coming years put us in a good place in Tennessee as far as this event goes. Otherwise, we might have to
realistically,
maybe move it somewhere else.
From what you've seen from all of your journeys and travels, realistically, how far out are we here in Tennessee from real legalization?
I think we'll have a medical program soon.
Yeah.
I think we're going in that. If we might, I'm pretty sure we're moving in that direction currently.
Even with some of the laws that they were trying to push, I'm glad to hear they're getting kicked back. But like, with all of that even still coming on, you're still optimistic that we're moving the right direction.
We'll move into something medical for sure. I would be shocked if we didn't have medical in the next
5 to 10.
less, like maybe 2 or 3. But But I've been wrong before. Who knows?
Well,
I remember thinking that would be the case in like 2012.
Right. Like I said, since I was 18, I've been voting on this. But to me, it all comes down to voters, which, like we said in the beginning, this is why we do this podcast. People that aren't from Nashville that have found this place home and call it home and love it as much as we do, which also gives us validation for not leaving.
Sure.
Because we love the place. So when people say, that's why I moved here, we're like, okay, we're not crazy. Mm-hmm. We do still love the city. But to me, it comes down to voters. And the more, when you've got 100 and something people moving here a day for over 10, 15 years, like you're saturating the voter market with people that are coming from states where it's been legalized for 10 years or better. So to me, that I'm like you, I think it's sooner rather than later. The reason I say 5 to 10 is because I don't want to get my hopes up and get let down.
And I think the other part of that is it's still the majority is still the residents that have been here long time. And I think it's just the education piece that it's not, this industry is not what you think it is. And I think the exposure and the education information around that is going to be very key. That's how I'd like to be involved. I think that's what I can offer is being able to really promote the non-party side of this and kind of breaking the mold and myth busting what people think to get more people voting on the same ballot.
Certainly. I praise you for that work.
And thank you very much. I look forward to our work together over the next month. How can people find out more about the Cup?
So to find more about
media,
the Cup, we can go to Southern Champions Cup on Instagram and also Joint Efforts Media on Instagram. Both of those have links into our sites and our tickets and entry forms and vendor forms and sponsor information, all kinds of things.
Awesome. I look forward to that. And trust me, y'all will be hearing a lot about this over the next month or so. So get used to it. Get ready for it. Get your ticket soon. And hey, Matt, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, bro,
dude,
thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank all of y'all.
I mean,
this is great. I'm super
someone
grateful.
who's been consuming for a long time, I still feel like I learned something here, and I look forward to really deepening this friendship, this relationship, to continue to learn more.
Right back at y'all. I really appreciate it.
Well, Southern Champions Cup.
Southern Champions
coming
Cup.
up December the
13th.
So if you're
East
feeling
Nashville.
low, East Nashville, Southern Champions Cup. Come on down.
Yeah, he'll get it. He'll get
I will get it. But if you like what you've seen, if you learned something like we did today, hit that share, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate y'all. And give us your feedback of what you want to see more of. And Speezy.
For the love of Nashville, tune into the next one.
Yay.